The Man Who Never Lied. Introduction. This is an African folk tale. The story is about a simple but wise person called Mamad. Mamad had never lied in his life. Once the king tricked Mamad to tell a lie. Did Mamad tell a lie? Come on, let us read the story and find it out. Before we begin with the story, would you like to know some information about folk tales in Africa? We have already got some information about folk tales in lesson 3.2. Come on, let us revise it. What are folk tales? Folk tales are stories passed down through generations. These stories are passed mainly by telling. Parents tell these stories to their children. When the children grow up and become parents, they tell their children the same stories. This goes on and on. For example, the stories from Ramayana, Mahabharata, Panchatantra, stories of different saints, stories of Shivaji Maharaj, Akbar Birbal, etc. Folk tales often teach you some morals and values. Activity time. Children, do any of you remember any folk tale that you have heard from your parents or grandparents? Please come forward and tell that story to your friends. Do try to write the same story in simple English with each other's help. It's time for Africa. Africa is the world's second largest continent. More than half of the African continent is covered by grassland or forest. The river Nile is the longest river in Africa and in the world. The Sahara Desert of Africa is the world's largest hot desert. Africa is home to many of the world's most famous animals. African elephant is the world's largest land animal. Giraffe, the tallest animal in the world, lives in Africa. Giraffe, the tallest animal in the world, lives in Africa. Nile crocodile, the largest reptile in the world, is found in Africa. The fastest land animal in the world, the cheetah, lives in Africa. The other animals in Africa. Lions, gorilla, hippopotamus, zebra. Come on, let us hear the story now. The Man Who Never Lied. Once upon a time, there lived a wise man in Africa. His name was Mamad. He never lied. He had become famous as the man who never lied. The king heard about Mamad. He could not believe it So he called Mehmet to meet him. Mehmet, is it true that you never tell a lie? Yes, Your Majesty. Will you tell a lie in the future? Never, Your Majesty. Be careful. Sometimes we don't even know how the lie gets on our tongue. Some days passed. The king called Mehmet again and informed him that he was going on a hunt and then to his summer palace. While speaking to Mehmet, he walked towards his horse. He held the horse's mane and put his left foot in the stirrup. Then he turned to the Mehmet and asked him to run to the summer palace and ask the queen to prepare a big feast for him and his people, including Mehmet. Mehmet hurriedly went to the summer palace. When he left, the king began to laugh. Ha ha ha! See how I tricked him! I'm not going anywhere today. Now I can prove that Mehmet told this lie to the queen. Next day, the king asked the queen whether she had prepared the feast. He told her that Mehmet had lied. Mehmet told me that the king might come to the summer palace if he put the right foot in the stirrup. He said he was not sure whether the king put his left foot on the ground again after Mehmet had left the place. It was not confirmed that you would come. We waited for you for some time, but did not prepare any feast. The king was taken aback when he heard this. He agreed that Mehmet was really a wise man who spoke what he saw with his own eyes. Nothing more, nothing less. New words. Kept his eyes open. Watched carefully. Famous. Very well known. Was taken aback. Was surprised or shocked. Stirrup. A loop of ring hung from either side of horse's saddle to support the rider's foot. Feast. A large meal or a celebration meal. The lesson we learned from this story. In this story, Mehmet had never told a lie in his life. He was confident that he would never do it in future too. The king wanted to prove Mehmet that sometimes a lie can be said unknowingly. The king tried to confuse Mehmet with the message to be given to the queen. Mehmet wisely delivered the right message to the queen about what he saw and what he heard. The wise and honest people never get tricked. They trust in what they see and what they hear. Activity 2. Now imagine that the queen prepared a big feast for everyone. No one went there, so the food was wasted. The queen became angry with the king. The king put the blame on Mehmet that he told a lie. The queen and the king shouted at Mehmet. Imagine the story differently. Come on, discuss the dialogues and write them down. Now, 3 different students come forward and enact. Given below are the sentences from the story. There are some wrong words. Please correct them. Muhammad was a foolish man. And you will not tell a lie in past? Muhammad turned around and hurried to the winter palace. The one special thing about Muhammad was that he always told a lie. He held the horse's mane and put his left hand in the stirrup. Use the following words and make meaningful sentences. Carefully. Hunt, feast, wise, lie, famous. Choose the correct answer. 1. The man who never lied is an dash folk tale. A. Indian. Choose the correct answer. 1. The man who never lied is an dash folk tale. A. Indian. B. African. C. American. D. Chinese. The correct answer is B. African. 2. Sumit's mother told him to be dash while crossing the road. A. Careful. B. Carefully. C. Caringly. D. Caring. The correct answer is A. Careful. 3. Yesterday, I dashed to school in 15 minutes. Walk, walking, walked, walks. The correct answer is walked. 4. Sarita dash that she will get full marks in mathematics. Thoughtful, think, thinking, thought. The correct answer is thought. Activity time. All of you write a short message to your friend on a piece of paper. The message should be about something you want to do with your friend in the evening. It should be short but clear and understandable. For example, Mother will be making batata vada in the evening. Please come home. We will eat together. Fold the paper. Put all the messages in the center. Now one by one, pick up any message and read it aloud. Let us see whose message is interesting and without any grammatical mistake. Answer the following questions. What was Muhammad famous as? Why did the king ask Muhammad to be careful? What message did the king give for the queen? Did the queen prepare a feast for the king? Why? What did the king agree finally? What lesson have you learned after reading this lesson?